Thank you. Okay, item number 2, approve the minutes from our November 28th Board of Commissioners meeting. Gentlemen, please let me know when you have read and approved.
I've read them, I can't. That's all I know.
Mr. Johnson, you have time?
Yes, I've read it.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Like a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Minutes are approved. Okay, this will be the last Board of Commissioner meeting that we have planned for this year due to the Christmas holidays. If we have some action we need to take, we will do a special call meeting, and hopefully we won't need that. Having said that, we'll move on to public commentary, 30 minutes maximum. Please raise your hand if you want to be recognized. Come to the front, tell us who you are and where you're from. Who would like to be first? Mr. Webb.
My first comment, is this on?
Yes.
My first comment is on what just happened. I believe the chairman's prerogative is to set the agenda. The charter of the local legislation actually sets the requirement for the meeting to be held twice a month. So therefore, if we're not going to have a meeting, it would be appropriate for the full Board of Commissioners to vote to do that, and then the chairman can set the agenda as is his prerogative. At the last meeting, I asked for some financial information, and I was unable to get that. The day after the meeting, I called the CFO, and I did not get a call returned. I got a call returned by the county clerk, which is not a problem. I made my request. There was no information available, so I made it as an open records request. I stated that basically the county charter requires the chairman to provide a plan as to management guidance in written form for the annual budget. Well, I was told we have no charter, which is correct. We have a local legislation. So I put in a public records request for the local legislation, and what I got was a Word document, which I believe is housed in the attorney's office, and it has not been approved by the General Assembly and has things in there that aren't correct. So again, I've gone backwards and asked for that to be restudied and see what's there. The actual thing I was sent says, and this is what the law also said, the proposed budget shall be submitted by the chairman, shall be accompanied by a report containing information and the data relating to the financial affairs of the county pertinent to arriving at and establishing the annual budget. There is no such report. All we have is a single year's record of what we're proposing to spend next year. There is no comparison, there is no financial analysis, there is no guidance. I asked secondly, and the statement came back that we have no such documents. So the second request was for a year-to-year budget analysis, at least get 2017, 2018 on the same page. Again, the answer came back from public records, we have no such document. It's hard for me to believe that no one, the CFO, the chairman, no one has a year-to-year comparison of any of our budget numbers, much less a 3-year or a 5-year copy, which I also requested, which aren't available. Again, the charter requires budget amendments to be reported to the grand jury. The sentence here is a copy of the budget and each revision or amendment to the same shall be transmitted by the chairman to the grand jury of the Superior Court of Fannin County within 10 days from such time as budget amendment is therefore done. And again, I'm told there's no charter, and that there have been no amendments made to date this year to the 2017 budget. Well, we know that's not accurate because we sat here and watched in the spring as we authorized many additional items. So that said, I would say we, again, are not following the law. This has been an audit exception for at least the last 8 years. We thought we should do better, and I ask that you not pass this budget as is because there's not enough information for anyone to know what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Who would like to be next? Yes, Ms. Eaton.
My name is Jan Eaton, and I do animal rescue, and I'm going to come to every meeting. And I'm going to speak every meeting, and I'm just going to keep exposing what's going on at animal control until something is done. I would like for you to know, Mr. Helton especially, since you told me you accommodate me with the number of animals that we pull from the shelter. Well, I've accommodated you for the last month, and we've treated 13 cases of parvo out of your shelter. And that, my friend, is not cheap. Why do they have parvo over there? I'm knowledgeable enough to know, and I tell John Drollinger this too, not every dog that comes in there and gets parvo gets it at animal control. But we have documentation now that they actually did contract it there. A dog that came in was vaccinated November the 2nd, broke with parvo about a month later. The incubation period is 7 to 14 days. So we have a big problem. That should never happen. But why does it happen? I know why it happens. It happens because the concrete at animal control looks like cottage cheese. Envision that. I don't care what kind of cleaner they use. If they put straight Clorox on every dog and every item in that shelter, that water stands in those crevices and in those dips in that concrete, and you're always going to have disease there. You've been lucky that you haven't had an outbreak of parvo in a long time, but you've got one now. And who is absorbing the cost of that? We are, Tri-State Pet Rescue. That's what we use our money for. You know, all that big money we make when we sell those dogs up north? We don't sell dogs up north, but your commissioner told me I do that. We don't do that, but we pick up what needs to be done for those animals because you will not improve the floor of that shelter. And we're tired, and we're poor, and we can't keep doing that. I am begging y'all to improve that building. It isn't fair to those animals. We love helping the animals, but you know what? Our dollar just goes so far. And it's disgusting. And that's your reputation out there amongst rescue groups, is it's disgusting. Everybody around us is moving ahead. Gilmer County just gave their animal shelter a 2018 Ford Transit van, almost exactly like the one that our rescue group has, except theirs is a 2018, brand new, to do transports. Whitfield County, which was horrible almost 2 years ago today, approved transports by their manager. What do we do in Fannin to move those animals out? Little or nothing if the rescue groups don't do it for them. Have you checked your Facebook page for Fannin County Animal Control lately? If you do, you'll find out since the end of November, they've got a dog pictured in there with dog poop in the picture. Is that the image you want Fannin County to portray? I would think that one of y'all would have looked at that, and we were just kind of watching it to see, is anybody going to, your manager put it up there and thought that was perfectly acceptable. What an embarrassment. And so I'm pretty fed up with it. In fact, I may walk away for a bit. I'm going to keep watching to see how things are done, but come on, guys. It's horrible up there. That floor is horrible, and we're paying financially to treat and pull those dogs through this horrible virus.
Thank you, Ms. Eaton. Who would like to be next?
I wasn't planning on saying anything. I'm Linda Kiker. I agree with Jan. I've been down there and I've seen the conditions. I don't know what y'all can do about it, but it needs to be fixed. And I'm concerned because the animals are in little cubicles down there like they are in all animal control facilities. And they're down there like for 2 or 3 months at a time. They don't get any exercise. Nobody, and they won't let volunteers come down there and exercise the dogs. So I think that's pretty bad that the dogs are shut up down there and they're not allowed to see the light of day because they won't allow any volunteers down there to walk the dogs even. And I think that's really bad for the dogs. So I hope y'all will take this in consideration and take a look down there and see what's going on.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay.
Who would like to be next? Anyone? Anyone? Public commentary is closed. Mr. Webb, I think you were right about that. You know, I probably should have had a vote on not having a meeting. I think we're allowed by law to extend that to not have one meeting a year. But it's been traditional, I guess, to not have that at Christmas. But gentlemen, would any of you like to make a motion that we do exempt our second meeting of the year and only have a call meeting if necessary?
I make the motion.
I'll make the second. All in favor? Okay, it's official. Thank you, Mr. Webb, for pointing that out.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 3, variance request from Blue Ridge Projects, LLC. Is there anyone here that is attending for the variance, either to support or oppose? Nobody? Okay. This variance is for a home site off of Asker Road, Stanley Creek Road to Geronimo Road, and it's on the end of a cul-de-sac, private property, private road, and the folks want to place a home 25 feet from the edge of the pavement of the cul-de-sac. Been up there, looked at it, don't see any issues with it. It's basically topography there, won't allow them to do anything else. You gentlemen have any thoughts on that?
Very steep lot, I looked at it as well, I don't have a problem with it being on private road as well.
Any thoughts, Commissioner
I have
Johnson?
no issues with it.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that we approve this variance for Blue Ridge Projects LLC?
Make a motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Variance is approved. Gentlemen, have any comments, thoughts on this?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, all right. I would like to make a motion that we appoint Miss Kathleen Tickner to the Fannin County Library Board immediately so she can attend the first meeting of the year, which will be in January. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Ms. Tickner is appointed. Andrew, you will tell us the term of the appointment.
It will be, will run from the first of this year.
You got it on, I'm sorry, I overlooked that. You've got
Okay,
it right
yeah,
here.
it should be on the paperwork.
Okay,
Through 2021.
okay, it's on the letter, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. And you need this form back from us when we get it?
Any kind of confirmation is fine. You can even send me an email, but that'll work.
Okay, all right, we'll do whatever you want to. You can contact me tomorrow if you wish. I'll have this form, we'll fill it out the way you want it.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Item number 5, Mr. Graham, you have something to discuss with us?
Yes, actually, I think Mr. Cook's going to present it for you.
You know what happened to the last camera that was left alone?
Is he going to watch the camera for you?
Maybe we'll work on all of them. What we would like to do is request to purchase a radio tower for the new 911 facility. And we have 3 quotes here from 3 different tower companies. One is for $22,000 even. One is for $28,824. And the third is $40,030. We see no reason why we could not go with the lowest bid on this one, the lowest quote on this one. And how we would like to pay for it is we do have $18,898 from an insurance payment from a tower which we lost earlier this year.
The one on Bull and Gap.
The one on Bowling Gap, that's correct. We'd like to use that insurance money plus another $3,100 from the budget to purchase this tower for the facility.
You have it in your budget?
We do, yes.
And the insurance is how much? 18,000, how much, Nathan?
18,898.23. So that would leave just $3,101 and change.
Well, what would be the time frame of putting this up at 911 center? Well, after it's completed, up the construction, or?
That's actually going to be kind of simultaneous as they are constructing the building.
All right.
And that should take care of the communications, radio communications for the entire site. So.
Okay. What's going to be the benefits of having it there? What kind of radius do you have on this?
Actually, it's to get back to the main repeater on Brawley Mountain. If we didn't have some type of tower there, it would be very difficult to be able to use the radio system.
Okay.
And also, it would be a benefit as a backup. If for some reason the repeater site went down, that would be tall enough that we would at least have some radio coverage in the county.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Have you already done the soil test on the site, or?
The contractor that's on site has done the soil testing.
Where would you be looking at on the site there if we're facing the building from Windy Ridge? Where would this tower be?
It'll be to the rear of the building. So if you go around to the left and back to behind the building, it'll be behind there.
Okay, would it be, as you're looking at the building on the left side or the right side, next to the bank, the tall bank?
To the left side.
The left side, okay.
So away from the tall bank?
Yes. That would prevent the bank from blocking any radio signal also.
You got any thoughts, Commissioner Sullivan?
No, just, have you ever dealt with this group before, of Nicky Fannin?
We used Ryco Technologies to work on the hospital tower for us when it
They're comfortable?
got there. Yes, they are.
Even though they are a low bid?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a smart company, but they're handle the work.
So they're gonna be able to drill through the rock, no problem? I mean, there's been no issues?
I said you wouldn't have any issues.
All right, well, that's good.
Any other thoughts, gentlemen? Any issues at all with this? Okay. Do I hear a motion we approve this? It's going to be a very small amount out of pocket once you figure out to get the insurance payment back. So, do I hear a motion we approve this? Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? There you go.
Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, Sheriff, come on down.
I assume you're going in order on the agenda.
Yes, we are. We're not going to skip around.
Okay.
We actually, it's my fault, we had two contracts on here for the food contract and for the health services agreement, so we didn't, it's kind of confusing just to look at this quickly, but you have the two contracts that we need to.
Which one did we talk about prior? Was it the health services, the medical, that's doing the 3% increase? Because I've not even seen our food services agreement.
Food service is a 1% increase from the previous year, and the health service, let me find this one real quick. Yes, the health services is a 3% increase.
Well, I would be here before y'all tonight just to ask that we re-enter into those contracts with them. They've not increased either one. The captain and I was just talking about that. I don't think our food service or our health provider has asked us for a percentage increase since I've been in office, so you can't say a whole lot to them for asking for 3% 10 years. So.
Okay. All right. This is basically an annual contract we do.
It is an annual contract, it is, and it's, it needs y'all's approval.
Okay. I've looked at it, I have no further questions. If commissioners, post-commissioners want to.
Not ready to go, right?
Yeah, we've not had anything except flawless performance out of both those providers, so I'd be scared to death to try to change.
I see no problem with it.
And then you want me to move on, or y'all want to deal with that first, or I've got one more little issue?
The one issue, just to let the post commissioners know, you called me today and let me know what had happened with the vehicle, and we're trying to scramble to get something taken care of for you, and this being our last meeting.
Yeah.
So it's not, the vehicle issue is not on the agenda because we didn't know about it till today. Not your fault, you've been scrambling to
Well, it just
handle
happened,
that. Yeah. So, yeah, please let the post commissioners know what you got going on there.
Major Bozeman got rear-ended out on Highway 5 a couple of days ago, and he got quite a bit of damage to his vehicle. We've got it out at Car Crafters, and they're thinking that it's going to cost about what the vehicle's worth to fix it, so it's likely going to be total. We don't have that in stone yet. State Farm is the insurance company on the other end, and they've not had a chance to do their work yet. So what I'm telling y'all here tonight is a lot of guessing going on. We don't know for sure if they're going to total the vehicle or not. We're assuming that they likely will total the vehicle. So if they do, what they'll do is they'll pay us what that vehicle's worth, and it's not going to be enough for us to replace it. So I have found a 1993 Dodge Dart that I'm thinking about purchasing.
You're getting to know,
He kind of likes it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Does this have the Dukes of Hazzard paint job?
Well, the seat scoots way up close to the steering wheel. He's used to short jokes. But anyway, no, all joking aside, that's kind of the dilemma that we're facing. We know they're not going to pay us enough to replace that vehicle, and he and I both have spent quite a bit of time today checking with everybody we know in the state of Georgia that deals in police vehicles, and nobody, absolutely nobody, has a used vehicle on their lot. I think Keith actually spoke to Brandon down in Unadilla, Georgia, was the last one we talked to today, and he said that he was scrambling trying to find them, but even he's having a hard time getting them. So we've got a new one located over at Jackie Jones in Cleveland, Georgia. The price on it's $26,700, which is within about $300 of what we paid over here at Tim Ford when we bought them. So I don't really know what I'm here asking y'all for, because I don't really know what we're going to need. I guess probably a little guidance from y'all about if they do total this vehicle out. Keith can drive what he's driving for a month if he has to, or possibly longer if he had to. But if they do total this vehicle out, you know, we would be ready to go ahead and move forward about replacing it. And I've had talks with the chairman and with Robin, and we've gone through the figure. They've gone through the figures, and they assure me that we have the money in our budget. If we did have to spend the $26,700 out of our budget, that those funds would be there, and then the insurance company could reimburse us whenever they've had time to do all their work. I don't know how long it'll take them. It may take them until after the first of the year before they settle with us on that car. So,
But you could purchase, you know, a 26.7 is a maximum it's going to cost us.
Right.
And you've got the money in the budget this year, 2017.
2017, right. And I owned in 18. I didn't
Right.
put anything like that in there.
Right. Well, okay. So really what you need us to do is basically approve the 26.7 for the vehicle you've already looked at, and then that would take you out of the pinch.
I think so.
Okay.
Does that sound like what I'm
Well,
saying?
if they don't total the car.
Well, that's
or
another
we're gonna
thing,
be
too.
there now.
If they don't total the car, then what they'll do is they'll pay to fix the car, and then we'll still have the car.
You still have the
Yeah,
car.
we will. But, you know, we've got a lot of options there. If another office needed that vehicle, you know, we could turn it over to y'all issue out however y'all saw fit. I mean, it would be a good, I'm not so sure that I would want it for an emergency vehicle after all the work has been done on it. You know,
Yeah,
that'd be an
that's where
option.
my mind started going, so. I mean, essentially, you're asking to go ahead and purchase a new vehicle. That's what you're doing
I guess it is,
up here.
yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
And we don't need him driving in the dark.
Volkswagen maybe.
Actually, Dodge Darts, these new ones, our drug task force bought some of them. They're not the car they used to be.
You say 1993?
They make the new ones again. They've got a new Dodge Dart. It's a good car.
So even if it's fixed, it's really not something that you would want out there?
You know, we've
We got enough junk cars now, we don't need any more.
Well,
Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at.
okay.
A lot of unknowns still at
Yes.
this point.
Well, you've got the money in the budget this year, Sheriff. I would be glad to make a recommendation, make a motion that we go ahead and approve that. Let you make that purchase this year since you have the money in the budget. Gentlemen, do you have any further discussion on this? Or Commissioner Johnson?
No, I mean, it being a situation that just come up, I mean, you know, some may say about the agenda, but this is something that's out of everybody's hands here. So.
Right.
Safety factor too, for your people and ours. Everybody.
Well, I'll go ahead and make that motion. Do I hear a second?
So,
Second. All in favor? There you go, Sheriff.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. No Dodge Dart, Keith, I'm sorry. All right, item 7, our monthly budget report.
I don't think y'all voted on the health service agreement.
Oh, we did not.
Okay. Let me back up. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're a poor salesman. You
Did we make a decision on the contracts? I think we may have forgot that, or that may
I
be
think
something
we
I'll do
got
later.
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
And we stopped.
I forgot, my apologies to you. I have no issues with either of the contracts. Gentlemen, do you have anything
and I'll
further?
make a motion, we, 3%, that's over a period of
Okay.
years.
Yeah, and the 1% on the food contract. Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
All in favor? All right, there we go.
When those get signed, we'll be glad to send them back, or if
Yeah.
y'all want to send them back, y'all can, just let us know.
We'll have those signed for you and ready tomorrow. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to item 7, our monthly budget report. Robin, do you want to do your thing?
This is our. This is our monthly budget report. I know it's a little early this month. We did do one in November, and I know we weren't going to have a meeting at the end of this month, so I went ahead and did it in between. This is just kind of showing you as of November 30th. Of course, the administration is always going to be over now because of the group health insurance. That's only because it's been taken out of the individual departments and put into just the administration department. As you can see, most everything is in line. The only thing that's showing over is the hotel motel, which actually is a very good thing. That means we're collecting more, so we're distributing more. And this is just the pie chart of the budget expenditures that I've shown you before. And then this is just the actual expenditures in a pie chart form. And it just shows you which departments use the most money, which is nothing unusual or nothing earth-shattering. These are the ones that are the points of interest. We are 92% into the budget. And as you will see, recreation is over a bit, but that's because of a couple of other programs that have been added this year. But as you can see, the generated revenue up to November 30th more than covers that extra expenditure. We have a couple of points of interest that are a little bit close. I don't see any problems on any of those as of yet. I know it looks like the sheriff's office is over budget, but you have to remember, and as I showed it there on the side of the revenue, you can't net expenditures with revenue, and he has bought those cars under a lease program, and we have collected over $300,000 in loans to pay for those vehicles and a piece of equipment that he bought. So he actually does have over $78,000 in his budget for vehicles. I know this kind of sounds like a contradiction, but he, like again, you cannot net expenditures with revenue. So the revenue part of that loan is in a different category.
Go with the tax assessor for this, Rob.
Okay, the tax assessor as of November 30th is under budget $242,270 at this point. I know they have a few more expenditures in December, but as of November 30th, they're under budget.
Actual today.
November 30th. So that doesn't have any of December's expenditures in there yet.
How much do you project?
Well, I mean, I don't see the bills that are being created. You know, that would have to be, you know, the department head would have to let you know that. I do know that they've had several people go to training this month already. And I know of several pieces of equipment they had planned to buy. I don't think it's going to be the $242,000, but I know it was going to be a pretty good chunk. Well, to me, it would be a lot of money. I know I noticed on some expenditures, there was $545 in education expenses per employee. It looked like there's 5 or 6 employees that went, that I can think of on the top of my head. So, and I'm sure there's going to be more expenses to that for their meals, and I think that was just like hotels and stuff.
So is it going to be $242,000 worth?
I do not think so, but again, I'm not the department head and I haven't ordered anything, so I couldn't tell you that for sure. We are about $500,000 total under budget. And again, I just want to stress that, you know, the fire station that was planned to be further along than what it was. So technically that isn't free money that a lot of people like to think about. It is designated money, but it just shows that we are minding our expenditures pretty well. And this is the SPLOST and LOST collections. It's actually October collections. We received it this month in November, but it's actually October collections. And you can see that we're almost up to last year's total. Lacking, and we have 2 more months worth of collections. So I think that's just absolutely wonderful. That means that we're collecting more in both the LOST and SPLOST revenue. I have one more. I think you all got a copy of this that I wanted to talk about. And this is, let me pull this up a little more. This is just trying to show you that over, since 2014, and I'm not sure 2014 number is completely accurate. I had to go back and kind of analyze that a little bit. But it's just showing a progressive rate, and I think it's 30+% that we've increased our budgets since then. And as you notice, the millage rate has gone down. We can't keep this up. Eventually, we do have what businesses consider equity for, you know, net income. And we have that in the county, and we are doing very well, but eventually that's going to be depleted if we don't do something. We have to either cut expenses or raise taxes, and I know nobody likes that. I know that there is inflationary in there. I do understand that, but you got to realize even like this year, we rolled back the millage rate in order to not have a tax increase. So that is accounted for.
This is really important for people to understand.
because you go from 2014 to this year, in 3 years, the budget has increased right at 40% with no tax increase. And that is unsustainable, and that's part of the reason why we're doing our best to start putting the brakes on that this year. The budget that we're projecting for 2018 over 2017 is about a 1.8% increase over this year. And this is, we're trying to raise some alarm bells to let people know that we've got, why we're trying to be tough on the budget, because we don't have any additional tax revenue coming in from the military. But that's been decreased over a number of years. We had a big decrease this year. It's kind of unfair that the state really doesn't take revenue from that, yet they enforce us, all the counties, that if you have growth in your tax digest, if you don't roll the millage rate back, you have to call that a tax increase. And nobody wants that. So this is something we're bringing it to attention now, and I want everybody to think about this, particularly elected officials and department heads, why we've been pretty tough on the budget this year. If we could do that and get a handle on this going forward, maybe the pain won't be so great. But if we don't control it and we have this kind of increase, it's simply, as Robin said, unsustainable. Cannot do it. So that's what that story tells.
Does anybody have any questions? Oh,
Can
yes.
I ask a quick question, Robin?
You sure can.
The SPOS money that
Sorry.
y'all went through and designated certain percentages of that to certain things, and I think there was a certain percentage of it that was designated to public safety.
Mhm.
When will we start seeing that?
We've actually already received one payment already. That started, this collection is actually October's collections, but we received it in November. And what I have done, in the last meeting, I had opened several different accounts.
Right.
So I can designate which, because there was 4 different categories for the SPOS: public safety, administration, recreation, and roads. So we have 4 accounts. That way, every time the SPOS money comes in, Julie automatically designates it to those accounts.
Right. So when that's kind of divvied out, I guess, among public safety, that portion of it, how will that be done?
We had a workshop on that. I don't remember everything on my recollection right off the top of my head.
Right.
But it's going to be, it's designated between the fire department, EMS, and sheriff.
Right.
Right.
So like a third, and a third?
I don't remember. I don't think so, but
We'll be glad to tell you more detail, Sheriff, if you want to come and sit down.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to that going, but we'll be glad to revisit that with you and give you more detail on that.
Okay.
If that's fair.
Can I ask a question?
Public commentary is over, Miss Eden, I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought that you asked if anybody had a question. Sorry, I must have
yeah,
misunderstood.
the commissioners, sorry.
Okay, well, Mr. The
Okay. You commissioners, do you have any questions on this or thoughts? Commissioner Johnson?
Well, I mean, with the last, the trend we're on, is just a trend that it's a question I asked a year ago with several departments is, when are we ever going to start being able to scale back, whether it be with tax assessors or whether it be with some of the other entities we've had to spend extra monies on. But in my experience here in 5 years, once anyone gets it in their budget, we never see it again. I mean, luckily I'm understanding that one we haven't spoke about yet has decided to have a decrease, but it's very rare that we ever have decreases in these budgets. And that last graph kind of shows the route that we're on. And I'm not in favor of raising taxes at all. So I think we can ask everyone to manage everybody's department a little bit better. And if there ever were a tax increase, there needs to be ample information to show how, at least speaking for myself, how we've tried to curtail it now, and then the next year or two, hopefully see that number go back the other way. Because if we don't, the bottom line is our fund balance is going to continue to dwindle. We have a fire station we're needing to complete. And so I hope a lot of different elected officials or entities, you know, whether you work under the Board of Commissioners or you don't, this is why we have to be thrifty with our nickels, because of that last draft that you just presented. Because if not, in the next year or two, no one wants to talk about it, but as it was said earlier, it is unsustainable. So I think everyone, even though times are good right now, we still need to pay attention to every dollar we spend. That is the opinion that I'm of. So I have no more speaking of it.
And I do have another thing I did want to go over, and it happened in the last meeting. And I do want to apologize that I did not have a copy of the budget available here. I did assumed, and it's unfortunately a wrong assumption, was that it was available on several outlets, through the Commissioner's office, through the website, through the newspaper, that I thought if anybody had questions or comments or anything for the budget hearing, they would bring them with them. And I do apologize that I did not have that available. And that's why this time, of course, then I wanted to show you what was in the paper, and then you saw what is going to be approved or not approved or discussed at the approved column. So you would understand what you're looking at on your paper that you got tonight. Also, things have come up recently, and I know that the commissioners are always talking about that they want to be included. Something came through my office, and I found out about it, and I'm not naming names and will not name names or anything about this, but if they want to be told everything, they need to make sure that all the commissioners know if they ask or request something. So I just want to reiterate that our office is open to all the commissioners, and if we forget something, I deeply and regretfully apologize that if we do, but I've been trying really hard to make sure that anything comes in, that we make sure that everything goes out to the other post, to everybody that is concerned with it, whether it's a department head or a commissioner or anything, because it's just really, I mean, for me, it's really difficult because I got to remember that there's two other people that I have to be accountable to. So I really try hard to do that, to make sure that I let everybody know everything. And I even try to call them and ask for their advice. There's been a couple of things recently that I've called and asked advice on, just because I don't know the county and I haven't been here enough to know the county. And they have been very good about giving me their advice and what they think, and I really appreciate it. And I just want to let y'all know. Anyway, if anybody has anything else.
I have nothing, Robin. I have no other, any other comments, commissioners, on budget? Finance report, I mean. Thank you, Robin. All right. Item number 8, the 2018 budget. Commissioners, I'll just open the floor for any comments, thoughts, or anything that you want to discuss on that. I've gone over this and gone over it and gone over it. I'm seeing these numbers in my sleep at night. So be glad to entertain comments or any thoughts from either. Commissioner Sophie, you have any?
The only comment I have is like I shared with Robin, I think, through emails and speaking with her as well. 2 or 3 years ago, we went down the same path over elected officials' budget, like Mr. Jones is back here. And my opinion is we can't tell them what to do with their line items. We might can suggest it, but as far as taking it away from them, I don't feel like it's necessary if we do that. We got into that a long time ago with Mr. Kirby and some car situation when Mr. Simons was on board, and he tried to fight that battle, and it was a battle that he didn't win.
Okay. What specifically are you referring to on the magistrate?
On the magistrate, I think that we need to just go ahead and give him what he's asking for. It's not, it's $12,000, $14,000.
What is that amount, Robin, here? Is that an increase? The actual total amount that we have here is...
Changes the 9,200.
Change 9,282.
Yeah.
That change.
And the actual amount of the salary increase is, how much was that on
It
there?
would be a total of 11%.
Okay, 11%. All right. Commissioner Johnson, you got any comments on that?
Well, I mean, the
specific
problem
one?
I have with it is that means in our office is telling another elected official what he's paying his people.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people that have a problem with what you make, Robin. There's a lot of people in this courthouse who have a huge problem with what you make, but they're not, you know, they're not having anything to do with what you make or what you don't make. And I don't feel like I'm gonna be telling the magistrate judge, the district attorney, the sheriff, or anyone what they're gonna pay their people. I mean, that's my thing. Like I just said, if we don't want to watch the monies we spend and we have to have a tax increase, these are perfect examples of why. If someone feels like their people need to be raised 11%, you know, everyone's elected by their own people. If Judge Jones wants to answer the people why he gave people a raise of 11%, I'm fine with letting him do it. I'm not going to answer for it. But if I go into his line item and say you can't have this in your salaries line item, then that means that this board can control the salaries in every elected official's office, and I'm not getting into that myself. If he feels like that's what he has to have for his employees to keep them and retain them, just like our sheriff in the past, we've had to pay more to keep deputies here. I don't think it's our spot to be telling him that, because then I'm speaking for myself. I'm not going to start answering for the sheriff, the magistrate, the district attorney, the judges. I'm not myself going to answer for what they pay their employees. I think we've got our hands full with enough of what we answer for under the Board of Commissioners. But I just don't think, I don't want to be a part of going in and saying you can't have this for your salaries. But that means then at that point I kind of control.
Well, when the 11% comes out in the paper, Mr. Jones will answer to his constituents that voted for it. Not us. Well, I feel about it.
Well, I have some thoughts on the issue too. We have tried very hard to keep this salary and wages for all the county at a 2% level. And there's been a few exceptions if there's been state mandates or if there's been a certification or additional training that employees have had to justify that. There could be justification for that. Basically, and it's and what we can do on this, gentlemen, unless there's other issues, we'll have a vote on this particular line item. But I really feel if we're holding employees to 2% on salary, that it's really, if you look at the sheriff's department, we've got people that are putting their lives on the line, keeping us safe. We've got our fire EMS rescue people. They're doing a lot for us. They're getting 2%. Our road department that's been out there working Friday and did a marvelous job of keeping the county roads in as good a condition as they could under the circumstances are getting a 2% raise. And the probably a little gray area where I'm in a little difference with you gentlemen on this is when we approve a budget, it's basically for the next year. But if we're talking about approving wages and salaries, that's not just this year. That's going to be the year after and the year after and the year after. So that one area I do feel we do have some oversight on. You gentlemen can disagree. We can disagree as gentlemen up here. And you're certainly going to be able to vote that. But I feel pretty strongly about that. But we do have a democracy. You gentlemen do have the right on the budget and voice your opinions. I do want there has been some confusion with some of these different departments where, as we stated before, we're paying insurance and retirement benefits out of administration this year. That's different from what we've done. So it gets a little confusing when you look at budgets and compared to the previous year, someone can say it's a cut. Well, it really isn't if we're paying group insurance and retirement benefits that really, you added it back in there, shows an increase. And the overall increase, Judge Jones, for your department is an increase, if you factor that in.
I don't have any retirement. None of my girls are qualified. They're all new for retirement. So
Well,
16,000 right out of it off the top.
Well, the numbers we have show that it's totally that you have more money, if you factor that in, than what you had last year. So, gentlemen, you got any more discussion? Was there any other items other than the magistrate judge that you gentlemen had problems with that needed to be raised, lowered, or what do you think?
If you'll bring up that change on the Superior Court.
I can't hear you, Robin, I'm sorry.
If you bring up that change on the Superior Court also. The one for Judge Weaver.
Right, that,
that'll change
that
the
one was a
total number.
decrease. She gave us a decrease of 17,655 from the amount that we were looking at. So this 260,790 for Superior Court would be that number minus 17,655.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have a calculator where we'll have the right number on that?
$135.
135?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. You carry on.
And Judge Jones's budget, and I think it'd be proper if we're going to raise that, Jim, let's have a motion and a second to approve that particular line item for the magistrate court. It's at 217,452, and to make that
It'll make
what
it to
is there?
226,734.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do that on everyone that changed theirs? Since we're making motions for line items of salaries? Because if it's gonna be black and white, it's gonna be black and white with everyone, Robin. If it's gonna be black and white, if we're gonna be black and white with one line item on the magistrate judge, it's gonna be black and white with every one of them. Now, I know you say everything's black and white, but a lot of it is, if we're gonna make motions to change his salary line item, then we're gonna go all the way down through here on every one of them. And I'm gonna stay here to midnight. Because I thought the other day when I talked to you about this, and undoubtedly, so you feel the same way, that he should get them, or do you not?
Yeah, I do think that he should.
But since the chairman doesn't feel like it, we gotta sit up here and go line item by line item and drag people out in the public. So if we're gonna be so black and white, we're gonna be black and white with every change you've made on here.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
No, absolutely, I know, everything you're doing is the right
I
way.
highlighted just the changes from what was in the
Mr.
paper.
Johnson, you're being a little
I don't
rough
know.
on
I'm
Ms.
asking our
Gadsden.
CFO.
I know you are, but
We've
you can
changed
calm down
five
just a
things.
little bit, please.
I'm not.
Let's calm down and let's have a good gentlemanly discussion.
We are, but I'm trying to get a black and white answer.
Right.
And until your last name becomes Johnson, I don't need you telling me what to do. There was one man, and his name wasn't Hilton. I'm asking her a question, and I don't know why you're intervening. I know why, because the two of you have sat and you
No.
went through every line item, personally, is what you've
I
done.
hope so, yes.
Yes, you have. And in your mind, what the two of you have is what it should be, and I should just sit here and keep my mouth shut.
No, that's why I
So,
gave you
but I'm not going
the
to. I'm
total
trying to ask you a
budget by line
question.
item by line item. I gave it
So
to
we
you.
should vote-
I
we
hand
should vote-
delivered it to
Yes, ma'am.
you.
We should vote
for
on
you
every
to
line
look
item.
at it.
We should vote on every line item then. If we're gonna make motions to approve a magistrate judge.
I've got everything here that's changed from what was in the paper.
Yes.
I highlighted it for you.
I understand that.
You had no questions for the
But
recommendation.
are we gonna make a motion, as you asked, Mr. Chairman, to approve a line item?
I can withdraw that request if you want to vote just on the total budget.
I mean,
That's fine.
that's how you do it. We're not,
Okay, we
I
can
didn't
do
know,
that then.
we're gonna go start line item by line item, because, we can do that.
It's not my
How do you
decision.
feel, Commissioner Sutherland? Do you want to do the total budget, or do you want to do the line item and go from, do it that way?
Well, we'll just do the total budget, because if we start on one line item, we need to do them all.
Okay.
I mean, you asked a minute ago, is there anything else that we disagree with, the sheriff brought up the thing about having an extra car left over maybe. And the first thing that popped in my mind, that's what the tax assessor's being needed. But that gets kink in it when Mr. Bishop says he don't want another piece of junk. So, I thought Mike could have taken care of another situation there, One minute we want something, one minute we don't, and it's nothing towards our CFO. But I'm asking them, if everything's gonna be black and white, I don't understand why we're sitting up here in the middle of a public meeting when you already knew how I felt about this, but I guess since the chairman felt a different way, we're gonna bring it up and we're gonna splay it out in front of a public meeting.
Well, I just said we can solve that right now. If you gentlemen, when you're through, if you have anything else you want to talk about here or discuss on the budget, then we can go ahead and accept a motion to approve the total budget. Do you have the total number, Robin?
27,647, 178.
And that includes the changes, the additions, and subtractions
All
on
the
here.
changes, yes, all the changes.
What was it, 20 what?
27,647, 178.
What was that putting back into Mr. Jones's?
Yes, sir, it's all the changes.
Anytime you gentlemen are ready, we'll entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I'd also like to say that I'm glad the other departments and some elected officials, and I'm not going to call each one of them out one by one, but I appreciate the other ones who decided at first they thought things were a little unfair, and those who somehow found a way to make it work with what we're trying to propose. I appreciate the ones who are doing their best to make it work. Go back to what was said earlier on the projection. That whole graph has to be turned around. It has to go the other way. If not, we all know what we're facing. So I'd like to publicly thank the ones who are making their best and valiant effort to make what is proposed in this budget work for their department.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2018 budget for $27,647,178? Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Budget is approved. All right, item 9. I know no reason we need executive session. You gentlemen?
I feel as we do. For
Okay.
personnel.
Personnel? Mr. Sosby, do you feel we need executive session?
Mr. Johnson just hit me sideways with it. I don't think it, I think Mr. Johnson does, we, good enough.
So is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so I ask a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive
Do I hear
session.
a second? All in favor? We'll go into executive session. Do I hear a motion, we come out of the executive session?
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. There were no decisions made on personnel. All right, gentlemen, do you have anything to say before we ask for adjournment? Any comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay, last chance for the year.
Yeah, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Hope to see you the second, or the first meeting in January.
All right, I ask for a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion.
And I'll second that. All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Merry Christmas.